Guys, I'm back, and you're watching again, right? And so's the Gloria, that's back. Oh, look. Hey, look, you can see there's a Nissan March in the Nissan Gloria engine bay. No, it wasn't a very good optical illusion, was it? Let's have a look at what the repair certifier said that needs to be repaired on the Gloria. So, as far as he's concerned, all this front stuff is all LVVTA. That's LVVTA, agree to that pretty much. Basically, once it comes past here, in this general vicinity of this debauchery here, that becomes repair cert type stuff if we're fixing any of this. So obviously we know about these holes. I've shown you, we've spoken about it, we all know about it. Those need fixing. These dents, they got to go. These little holes here, they got to go. So basically these chassis rails, if I make a new piece through here or repair these, then that's good. And same deal on the other side. The other side's actually a bit tidier. No rust in this general area here that we know of or can see or can find. So there's a little bit there. That's literally, you could probably, might give it a go, just mig in the holes and see where we're at and get a boroscope look on the inside. Which reminds me I should go to Repco because they're on special. Yes, I'll make a phone call and buy a boroscope so I can have a look up inside these holes properly. See where we're at. That surface rust, it's not really a big deal, but I'll tidy it up anyway. And probably a new piece for the back here, or maybe even just a patch in the side of it. Again, boroscope, drill some holes, see what we reckon. That's almost it. At the back of the car here, let me turn the torch on. Ta-da! This area along here, where our panel joins, actually looks better with the torch and the camera than what it does in person. You can actually see the spot welds running along there. That hole with the, I guess it's a tear, isn't it? It's not really rusted out. It's been torn somehow. Someone's tried to tie the car down with a strop or something. I think that's what it is, eh? Oh, sorry. I think someone's put a strop in there and wrenched on it. But anyway, he wants that fixed. He wanted to have a look at this general area along here on the edges. So just wasn't really confident that we've got good attachment there because there seems to be a lot of bog in that general area. So that's fair enough. We can take that paint away up to, where are we, up to this edge here. We could repaint that black and it wouldn't really be a big deal. So we'll grind all that off so you can see that, see what's going on. And same deal on the other side. Now, to the side, I may have mentioned earlier, I'm pretty sure I did somewhere, about, I'm just sticking the magnet, the torch on with the magnet. This bit here, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that, I don't want to touch that. That is, that's silicon in there, and that's not attached. That's jiggle. They've tried to glue and poo rather than doing it properly. So there's a bit of, I've got to do a bit there, make that much nicer. Several options there to fix that, but that's it. So 1969 is going to be things to fix, right? It's just the way it is. So, and there's a couple of things up top that I know about and the panel beaters know about, and the repair certified didn't see because it was on the hoist, but we'll fix them, we'll tell them about it, and we'll get it sorted. So, it's raining, but I might go for a drive and I'll get that boroscope from Repco. Or give them a call and get them from Repco. Or give them a call and stick it on the courier. Might be an easier way to do it. It's Monday, so maybe I'll have a chilled out Monday and just wait for the courier. Let's see what happens. Well, now it's, I don't wait. Can you hear that rain? Lucky I went and got this morning. It did get wet, but it didn't get absolutely drenched. If we were trying to do it right now, she'd be having a shower. Woohoo! Trip to Repco and back. in the rain. That was nice, never mind. Not going to do an unboxing for you because there's not much in there. It's just a nice little inspection camera. You attach the camera lead, whatever you want to call it, conduit, fiber optic cable, duplicate thing. Well, it's not actually fiber optics, right? So it's got cables in there, it's got wires and stuff, and the actual camera just lives in the end there. But you push the button there, or you push it a bit longer than that apparently. And there we go. We're all fired up. That's what we're looking at there. The old, you can see the toolbox through there. Wow. Mean, eh? So, with that over here, I'm not going to try and drive this camera and that camera at the same time. I've drilled some holes in here where there were already some rust holes. A reasonable amount of material around that once you get away from the problem areas. I'll ring our repair certifier and make sure my little scheme to fix this up is appropriate and get on with it. Righty, the autopsy's well underway now. Not too bad under there. I actually expected to find a great big mess in between these two, but not so bad. I've seen what's in here. I know what's to come. Spoken with the repair certifier, and I don't consider it a quote, but you're just going to make new chassis rails, aren't you? So, yeah, apparently apparently that's what we're in for. I did say to him that the top section here is actually, it's still really good, and in some places is still no sign of rust at all. So it might be that we just cut all the way along here, leaving a 10-15mm tab, and fold up a new section just to go onto there, so that we're not dealing with trying to weld to the floor and stuff, which just gets awfully complicated. And that he was okay with that, so might be how we go. Of course, depends on what we find here. If this is rusted through here, this area here might not be so good, so it might be just a case of being committed, have to do it. We'll see. We'll find out shortly. As the saying goes, if it wasn't, I'll have to use stuffed rather than the proper word. If it wasn't stuffed before, it certainly is now. So a little bit of theatrics. I've got a couple of magnets there to hold it up, but all the stitch welds are undone, and I can now grab that. So see, it's just surface rust on the floor. Like, that needs cleaning up, obviously. You wouldn't leave it like that. I've welded that from the other side and had no problems doing that. You can see there's reasonable penetration and stuff. Oops, a couple of those holes are a little bit elongated, aren't they? Oopsie daisies, never mind. And the inside of our chassis rail. In fact, if I hold the camera in the right spot, look at that, you can see right through it in some places. So up near the top was not terrible, like it is rusty, but as we come down here you can see some of it's actually still reasonably clean, almost like brand new metal in places. Unfortunately that's heading towards the front, which is a good thing, because this area at the front's a lot harder to deal with. So I'm definitely going to fire the Pixies. Came out here this morning, very disappointed in the progress. Nothing at all. I must be feeding them the wrong stuff or something. So anyway, there we go. This is what's inside some of the stuff towards the front there. I should have brought torch over for you guys, but this is the area obviously I've stitched onto here. So this stuff here at the front is actually still pretty good, not bad. However, I think to do this properly, perhaps using the term loosely in some people's descriptions, but whatever, to do it properly, I'm probably going to unstitch this whole piece right up here, undo all these, which will be an epic pain in the ass. I did a good job of those, but never mind. Undo all these stitch welds, just do this whole section. And the other side here, over here, nowhere near as bad, not even actually an issue. Couple of little pinholes here, but looking through these holes onto the inside of it, it's actually, this front section here is good. We do have to do something with this back section as per these holes here. So that side's going to be easier than this side. but that's all right. We can do it. Choppy chop, just to get a bit more of a handle on what we're dealing with here. As I expected, I've put some little yellow dots there for those that are not so savvy on this sort of thing, to give you a bit more of a guide of what's going on. All this pitting at the bottom here obviously weakens the material significantly. No good at all. And in fact, in some places so bad. There's my torch shining through from the other side. That's what we were seeing from the outside. So excuse the focus there. So I've given that a bit of a blowout with the duster gun and a bit of a run over with the wire brush to give it a bit clearer view of what's going on. Up towards where the new chassis rail went in there, you can see by the time we get up to there, all that guff's kind of disappeared. So what I stitched onto, obviously no problems at all, but then by the time you come down here a little bit further into the darkness and around the corner on the side that you won't be able to see, so this is no good at all. Obviously there's no point in doing half that piece of metal, and with the structure over here on the other side of that, just to make things fun, it should be a bit of a laugh, a bit of a challenge for today. So or perhaps more than a day. Okay, that rear section from here back is 100% gone. These were a sod to get out. These spot welds. Someone with the old welding machine was crimping it, turning it on, and then moving it. So they're all elongated and a little bit of a bastard to get undone. Cleaned most of the surface rust off the floor there. And just like magic, there's one of those made up. Not 100% finished yet, but it's time to go and play some Lego with our little one. So I've got to trim it to length and I've got to tidy it up a little bit, but that's the basics of it. Of course, I'm talking about the one closest to you with all the cuts and rust in it and holes, etc. That's the one that I'm putting on the car, because that's what I do apparently. So she's all ready to go, just about. As I say, a little bit of finishing off. So we'll get that new piece put in, and I'll take that through up into here and obviously not stitch it on. This piece will have to come out of the way to get it in, otherwise you have to slip it in here, and you won't be able to slip it in there at the same time, because it won't slide all the way down to here to give us the length to get the end in there. Sorry for making you dizzy going backwards and forwards. So I'll chop that off tomorrow. I'm going to take that whole piece right off. I was just going to butt up to here and weld against it, but look, I'm just going to fabricate this whole thing beautifully. Get that out of the way, put that chassis thing up there after the floor's fixed, weld all that in, and then I'll take this piece here out. Just trying to avoid, if I take this out now, we've got a very large span from here through to here that's unsupported, even though we do have the sill here and everything's intact and trans tunnels in here nice and strong. It's unlikely the car's going to move, but just to avoid that. Right, couldn't help myself, supposed to have gone inside to play Lego with the little one, but trimmed that to length and got it smashed up in there, just temporary, to see if it fits, make sure it fits, make sure I'm happy with everything. It's going to be grouse, so that's all good. That's actually 1.6. The original material, real funny, thickness was 1.4. That's the best as I could measure, 1.43. It's really strange. You can't actually buy that as far as I know. It goes 1.2 and 1.6, I think. Well, it does for aluminium. Maybe steel's different. But it's now 1.6, so it's stronger. The stuff here, I might take that up to 2, possibly, because I'm pretty sure these are 2. I'll double check that and see where we're at. Might just upgrade that while we're at it. No harm, we've gone from 125 horsepower to 500 or thereabouts, so yeah, making it a bit stronger won't hurt anyone. There we go, that's ready to go in now. I have removed the excess material, I've removed the electrogalv coating from the spots that we're going to be welding, left as much as possible. Good as gold. The old Bosty electric glue gun put to the task. Glue all this on here. TIG weld. But that's penetration. You can see from welds have gone in from the other side through the holes that were in the floor, welding through that way. Oh look, I got my finger dirty. So a couple more to do under here. These ones are a pain in the brain, but the ones on the sides are done. Got a bit carried away with this one by the looks of it. It's alright. More is good. So after many, I was going to say hours, it's probably, oh, it might be hours. After many hours of consultation with myself, I have decided the best way to repair this is not to leave this top section up here and cut along here and attempt to remove all this, etc. Clean all that up as best as you can, probably sandblast it and then stitch onto there. That would be okay. That would be probably legal and acceptable. I'm going to bite the bullet. This is coming out. That's coming off. That entire chassis rail, the whole lot back to there, is going bye-bye. It's going to get done. Big job, a lot of time. It has to be done right. There's no point in doing it. Well, I mean, the other way's right, but this is more right. It's righter, betterer, more gooderer. This has got dent in it anyway, hey? So there's my excuse on getting in there to repair this dent. That is kind of structural. Probably shouldn't have a dent there. It's not going to be an actual issue. It wasn't declared as an issue, but let's get it done. So, yep, fun and games. More drilling. Bit tricky to get this piece out because you can't see it because of the poor light, but inside here is actually a folded edge that's folded back that direction with spot welds through it. So we can't get to those. So it's probably going to end up getting the chop along this edge here. That piece can stay there. We can drill those spot welds from the inside once this is gone. Gives us a guide to put everything back in the right spot anyway. Fun and games. Nearly ready to drop that out. A couple of chop here and chop there, and that'll be ready. And I know some of you will be thinking, what's behind there? Don't worry, I know what to expect behind there. I have actually been doing this for about 20 years, despite some people's apparent perceptions of things. So, oh dear. It's snow! Falling on the floor. Red snow! Red snow. Never mind. We'll fix that while we're there. Yeah, I'm cheating. It's already been off. I know what's behind there. Ta-da! Some of that's actually really mint. Some of it not so much, but not a big deal. You can see obviously I've put a patch from the inside just there. There's another one over here where the sealant is. When I finish the job, I put some primer on that. Sealed it up. Inside of this, yeah, not the end of the world. So, carry on. We'll get this, what's left of this chassis rail out now that we can get to everything. Suspension's been removed. Take the weight out of the front of the car. Subframe is staying there to try and hold the chassis rails in the right spot, hold everything square. Shouldn't be a big issue. There's still actually quite a lot of structure up the top here supporting all this, and it's all attached quite nicely, so I'll take a couple of measurements while I'm at it and make sure it doesn't move. Now, when I said I've been doing this for 20 years, I know people will be making a thing about it, but I actually have been doing this sort of work for 20 years. I was doing this on aircraft way back, 1996 or 7. I started in the aircraft industry, and it wasn't long after I started there that I put 2,000 hours into a Cessna. I think it was a 402, something like that. After a big crash in Africa somewhere, it came to New Zealand to be rebuilt. It was me who put a lot of work into that one. So undoing panels, repairing panels and stitching things back together. Yeah. Yep, can do. Actually qualified in that in the aircraft industry. Very similar techniques overall for the automotive industry. Obviously we're dealing with metal, not aluminium. We're dealing with spot welding instead of rivets, etc. But the bulk of the principles all apply. Fell off properly. Actually had to use the sabre saw just for a little bit. There's quite a big hole in this car now. Yeah. First side under construction. It's all very familiar. Been here, done this before. Goes on and on and on. Not a bad fit for the trial fit. A little bit of correction needed up here. There's a bit of room in the firewall for movement anyway. I could just push that down that far or straighten this. I'll probably straighten this. There's my line at the bottom, worked out quite well, perfectly in the right spot. So that needs to be folded over this way, so that when we weld the bottom onto this, it's going to have a nice edge to weld onto, just stop it wibbly wobbling and going all over the place. Of course, not forgetting to put our little, make a new bracket and put that in there before we get that far. Yep, this is going to take a while. Rightio, 4 o'clock Friday arvo. About done with this for the week. I think I'm going to have a weekend off. Had to do a wee patch in the floor there. A little too much of the old iron oxide going on. So, done that. And you can see the, probably don't look all that pretty, do they? Oh, not too bad when they're looking through the camera. All the plug welds holding the chassis rail in there. So we'll go around here. I'll show you from the top. Easier to show you from here for now. So as you can see, there's only one side of that curvy section. Let's go under here, shall we? Let's look up through there like that. So one side of that curvy section, but the whole rail at the back there, and that is a factory join where I've joined that there. The only difference will be, let's come around here, that edge that you can see that I've folded over at the bottom. Obviously we're going to make this piece out of 3 pieces rather than 1, because we simply do not have the technology to make that from 1 piece. Heck of a lot of work. I could probably get it done, but it's just not, that's not practical or sensible. So that'll be 3 pieces. There'll be the 2 sides and the base, but apart from that, it'll be factory equivalent, shall we say. We can actually get a bit more material onto the lap joint where we've put on our new rails on the front here, our new skin. So by the time we're finished with this, at least on the passenger side, we'll look into the driver's side, but at least on the passenger side, it's actually going to have a brand new chassis rail right from the front all the way to the rear suspension pickup points. I was going to say to the back of the car, but it isn't actually quite that far. Rear suspension pickup points. So yeah, that'll be nice. That hopefully that won't have any problems with corrosion or anything going forward. We do the job properly. We'll have to go through the rest of the car and make sure the rest of it will keep up with that. So there we go. Oh, look at that. It's knock off time on Friday. All right, cheers for watching, guys. Cheers, bye.